Good morning to everyone and welcome to our first RURACTIVE Open Call webinar. My name is Josipa Arapovic and I'm a part of the F6S team who is managing this RURACTIVE Open Call for innovators. On this webinar, we're going to be focusing on everything that you need to know on how to apply to this open call for innovators. We are very excited to have such a diverse audience joining us today, including innovators, Dynamo partners, and different stakeholders. Our goal for this webinar is to provide a comprehensive overview of the open call, to present the challenges, and to answer any and all questions that you might have in order to help you successfully participate in this open call. Before we officially begin, I have just a few housekeeping notes. As you might have seen when you joined the Zoom link, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for reference afterwards. It will be available on our social media channels and the project's website. Please keep your microphones muted during the presentations of others. And if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A box or just simply raise a hand and we will get back to you once the Q&A session starts. I see that some raised hands have already started, so you can, if you have some technical questions, you can straight away ask them in the Q&A box, and my colleague Luisa will attend to them. Okay, so I guess now we can quickly dive into the agenda of today's webinar. We will talk mostly first about RURACTIVE as a project. We'll talk about what we are all here for is the open call for innovators. We'll do a quick challenges briefing. We'll go through how to submit your application, and then we'll devote most of the part of today's webinar to the live Q&A in order to address your specific questions that you might have. Again, please either raise your hand or just ask them directly in the Q&A box. For today, like I've said, now I'm doing the welcome of all participants. And then right after that, it's my pleasure to hand over to Claudia De Luca, who will provide insights into the RURACTIVE project and its objectives. After Claudia, I will talk also briefly about the open call info, the scope of the open call, how to apply, and then we'll be joined by Katerina, also from Unibo, who will talk about the challenges presentation. So not to go too much into detail, I will just hand over to Claudia De Luca, who is a project manager, who will provide insights into the RURACTIVE project as a whole and the objectives of the project. Claudia, over to you.
Thank you very much, Josip. I'll try to share my screen. I hope you can see it. Yes?
Yes, you can put it full screen and it should be fine.
Yeah, now it should be in full screen.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much, Josipa, for the introduction and welcome everybody. It's very nice to see so many people interested in this. I'm Claudia. I'm from the Department of Architecture at the University of Bologna. And from here, we coordinate the RURACTIVE project. I will try to go a bit more into the content of the project, since hopefully this could be very relevant for the ones that are interested in to apply into the call. And I'm happy then to answer to some of your questions if you have any. So what is RURACTIVE? Some very first general information. We have responded to a topic that it was an Horizon Europe topic on the cluster 6. And it was an innovation action. So we are supposed to really go on ground and implement, let's say, innovation or innovative solution in various territories around Europe and beyond. We are quite a big consortium. We are 29 partners coming from 12 countries, and we are divided both in, let's say, technical partner that are mostly university or research center, and also SME, and organization representing rural community. the type of organization that represent the rural communities are very diverse. So we have both regional government, local association, NGO, SME again. So we have really a diversity of stakeholders also representing the local rural communities. We call them dynamos. Probably you're already a bit familiar with this name. So this is just a way to call our local case studies around. The project will last for 4 years. It started the 1st of September 2023 and it will end at the end of August 2027. So we are now running January is month 17. So we are like a bit before than half of the project. Many things already happened and many more are to come. The project budget is about 6.5 million euro. And 1.2 million are actually dedicated to the financial support to third parties. So FSTP, that is actually what we are speaking about right now in this call. That was a suggestion from the Commission in the call, and it basically means that during the project proposal, we had to decide somehow how to dedicate part of the budget to develop a cascade funding, so an open call during our own project. What we decided, and this was already mentioned and written in the proposal at the proposal stage, is that we wanted external innovators to develop solutions for our dynamos. And this is very important. We already received many questions regarding this. We could have done in another way. So there are projects that are actually funding through their open call other rural communities around. Our idea is that we would really like external innovators to support and work with our dynamos. That's the reason why in the website you see that the challenges related to the open call are divided per dynamos. This is a bit of the conceptual framework. I think it's pretty important because these are the buzzwords, the keywords that you will be hearing in case you're going to be selected, and you already find in the guidelines for applicants. So we speak about 3 RDD, stands for Rural Development Drivers, not 3, sorry, 6 RDDs. And these are the ones that you see here in the boxes. So culture and cultural innovation, local services, health and well-being, sustainable multimodal mobility, sustainable agri-food system, nature-based and cultural tourism, and energy transition and climate neutrality. Basically, when we had to think about a conceptual framework to support rural communities in, let's say, sustainably transition, we wanted to work not just, of course, on agri-food and ecosystem management, so everything that regards more agricultural issue, as is very much, let's say, common in, of course, rural areas. We wanted to work on energy, that again is a huge topic. But we really wanted, of course, to work also on services that are hopefully really the ones that could drive a repopulation of those areas. And those are like culture, tourism, mobility, and local services. So that's the reason why we have this big variety. Together with this, we wanted to focus on several types of innovation. So, of course, digital and technological innovation is part of it. And this is also something that we ask in this open call for innovators. But as you see here in the boxes, we have other types of innovation that we would like our solution to be integrated with. One is technical innovation, another one is financial and business model, and another one is social, organizational, and governance innovation. At last, but very important, in all the solutions we would like to develop within our project, we are considering 3 main cross-cutting priorities. And those are social justice and inclusion, biodiversity, climate change mitigation, and adaptation. What does it mean? That basically in each of the ideas that our dynamos are developing, and in each of the ideas that we are expecting to receive from you, we would like to see the cross-cutting somehow integrated within the idea and within the solution that you're going to propose. Because we do believe that if we do not consider these 3 spheres together, we cannot really claim for, let's say, sustainable and inclusive transition. What I would like to focus in this presentation, as you can imagine, we are dealing with many different activities at the same time with all the partners that I was mentioning before. But mostly what I would like you to have a look at is the process that the Dynamos followed so far. Why? Because I really believe that getting a bit more familiar with their process and how they define the challenge and what they want to do can really help you also in better shaping your ideas for a solution. So what we did at the very beginning, as the University of Bologna, we are not just coordinating the overall project, but we are also coordinating work package 4. That is the one that is dedicated to the setting up of the so-called RIE, that stands for Rural Innovation Ecosystem. So basically what we have been starting from the very beginning with all our dynamos, it was to support them in setting up the so-called rural innovation ecosystem. There are basically communities of stakeholders that are gonna work together to co-develop, co-implement, and co-monitor our solution. To do so, Dynamos started to work already a year ago based on some guidelines, some methodological guidelines that we developed. And they follow this step that you see in this line here. So there are 4 main steps. Step 0, that is getting started somehow. Then stakeholder identification, engagement, and empowerment. And I will go now pretty fast around the different steps. The first one, that is step 0, that is really like getting started for them. It was basically to identify first a coordinator or coordinators. In some cases, when we have 2 partners involved, we may have 2 coordinators. They identified a place, so a site where most of the activities will happen. We say most because in some cases, our territories are very different, and then Caterina is going to give you a bit of a, let's say, an idea of the diversity of the dynamos that we involved in the project. You can see it already from the pictures that I included in this slide. So in some cases where the territory is very big, they may have even more than 1 site. That to us is very important because we do believe that innovation happens in places and in sites. So we really want the local community to have a reference place in mind when they think about RURACTIVE. We also ask them to look and to reflect upon previous stakeholder mapping process and participatory processes that happened in the area, because we did not want first to reinvent the wheel or to, let's say, rework on things that have been already mentioned without really involving the organization that were doing their process. And we ask them to choose the rural development drivers. So most of our dynamos are working either or 2 to 3 rural development drivers together, some of them even 4. Of course, this is not like something that cannot change, but so far they're really focusing on some of those. After this, the so-called step 1 was the stakeholders identification. What you see in the first box up is basically a huge Excel file that is coming from Olo. That is one of our dynamo. So first what they did is that they brainstormed around possible interested stakeholder. And they selected them reflecting upon our conceptual framework main ideas. So stakeholders per RDD. So if they're working on nature-based and cultural tourism, of course, they have to look for stakeholders active in that field. The cross-cutting priorities, so biodiversity, climate, and social justice. And then after this, what we have been asking them, it was to analyze and prioritize their stakeholder. How did they do it? They used the, let's say, common interest and influence matrix, but we have been asking them also to reflect about the social inclusion issue, meaning that in case a group so-called at risk of exclusion that regards young people, elderly, migrants, people with disabilities, and LGBTQ+, if they were working with such a group, they had what we said to push up the post-it that you see here in the matrix because we really want them to be involved and we really want the dynamos to collaborate with these groups. All of these basically served to identify and engage core stakeholders to form a local task force. Why we believe that the local task force is the very first important engagement phase.
Sorry, Claudia, I don't know if it's just me, but I lost you for a bit.
No, we don't hear you anymore, unfortunately.
Yes. I lost her as well.
I think it would be best if you go back to the slide from the beginning.
But can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. The previous slide.
This one, but from the beginning.
This one from the beginning, yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay, so let's say that after having done the identification, so the mapping of the stakeholder, and then the matrix to analyze and prioritize them, we have been asking the dynamos to start the engagement phase. To do so, they develop a local communication plan, meaning that they set up their communication messages and channel to reach the different stakeholders. And then they identified and engaged the core stakeholders they wanted to work with to form local task forces. This was quite important because we think that to really get an impact and to really get a strong community engaged, our dynamos really needed some stakeholders they could really rely upon and then could work as somehow facilitators of the process at a local level. So what you see in here, for example, it's a picture of the local task force from Dynamo 7, that is our partner Forza from Ukraine, Zakarpattia. So all our dynamos have this core group of engaged stakeholders that they work with in all the process. And after that, they have organized, together with the local task forces, an open day. So basically a day where the dynamos presented to the community RURACTIVE, the activities, the objective, what we want to do, and what may be their role in the future. The picture that you see here is coming from Borgo Futuro, so from the case of Fiastra Valley in Italy, and it's representing their open day. The stakeholder empowerment phase is the phase that concerns the innovators the most. Why? Because this is basically where you are called to come in. So basically this phase is made up by two different things. The first one is the selection and enrollment of the local community trainer. This is a call that we open at a local level to select a person that will support, let's say, training in the digital and making environment in our dynamos. And then there is the, let's say, the biggest part probably of our work in this stakeholder, in this rural innovation ecosystem, that is the co-development phase. What does it mean? That the dynamos, after having identified and engaged the stakeholders, are now working together with them to define place-based solution. What does it mean? That basically they are following this process of 4 main steps that are related with 4 main workshops. What you see in the image called as LW stands for local workshop. And this is the process that our dynamos are following. So they have started in September last year with the first workshop that is called Vision and Challenges. This workshop called together all the stakeholders and worked towards defining a vision for the future of their rural area. So where they wanted to go, how do they imagine their rural communities in the future? And based on that, they had to draft challenges that they already seen in their communities related with the different RDD, or challenges that may rise if the condition change. So for example, because of climate change, some of the challenges that they have today can be actually worse than in the future. This list of challenges is actually let's say the basis of all the work that is happening now in the dynamos. So from these challenges, together with the dynamos and F6S, we selected some, they developed them, and they publish them in the open call. So the challenges that you read in the website now have been actually co-developed and co-defined by our Dynamos organization and their local stakeholders. And these are the ones that goes up here in the image. So where you read F6S launches the open call for innovators based on this challenge. But as you see, the arrows are also going down into the local level, because for the other challenges that have not been placed in the open call, Dynamos are working at the local level with the stakeholders to define the so-called place-based solution. The local workshop 2 just took place, or I mean, actually is taking place in the Dynamos during January. And this is where the Dynamos are developing their own solution. So let's say the one that they are going to be implemented by the stakeholders. In this moment, basically, is where you're going to match. So what it's very important for us, and this may be a bit different from maybe innovators that apply to other open calls, we really would like you to support and to work with our Dynamos. So you have seen that the process of the open call is in 2 stages. And in stage 1, you're actually asked to go in the Dynamos to present your idea, so to pitch your idea, to receive comments from the community, to adapt your idea to stage 2. This step is crucial for us because, I mean, of course, we have to keep the trust of the local community, and we have to tailor your idea to the territories that we are working with. So this phase that you see, local workshop 4 co-tuning workshop organized by innovators, is actually the one that you also find in the guideline for applicants, and that most likely Josefa then is also going to present you. What you see at the end, this local action plan, is basically the synthesis in between the solution that you are going to propose as external innovator and the place-based solution that are going to be raised by local stakeholders in the Dynamos. So this is where we are, basically with the challenges. We open this open call for innovators, and this is a bit of the timeline that is already in the open call, but just to say that everything, and this is very important to keep maintaining, let's say, the right timing, everything that we have been asking you and that we will ask to the innovators that are going to be selected should be integrated with what we are doing in the project. So there are different levels of integration in the workshop. And we really need, let's say, to get to, I mean, we're really looking forward to receive your ideas and to discuss them in this local workshop with the Dynamos, where they can also have a better, let's say, look at what you're proposing for their territories. That's it from my side. I don't know if I should probably stop sharing.
Yes, I think it would be best if you stop sharing. Just give me a second to start my presentation. Sorry, I have some internet issues. Is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Very well, but we don't see your screen.
Sorry, let me start again. Sorry about that. Da-da-dum. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Give me just a brief minute. Sorry about the technical. Can you see it now?
No.
Maybe Luisa, you
Yes, would like to share with me, Josefa? Maybe I can try to share for you.
Let's try once again, and I will.
What I can do, Josefa, I see that there are already a couple of questions. I mean, some are probably more for you, but there are a couple that I can go through. So if you want.
Yes, that would be great.
Yes.
Let's sort this out. Sorry about
No,
it.
it's fine. I see Igor is asking for the selection of local stakeholder in Zadar. Will you connect us with them prior to stage one application, or it will be done after the announcement of results of stage one? So thanks a lot for this. We will not connect you directly, but you are more than welcome to write to the Dynamos organization and to ask them if they have somebody in mind that that they want you to connect with. In case you don't before stage one, then definitely after we're going to do it. Because I mean, if you are actually successful and you go to stage one, then yes, you will have to go to the Dynamos and you will meet the stakeholders. So in that case, is going to be for sure. And Faiza that is asking, is there a plan to include other regions as Dynamo? There is. There will be an additional call for, a call for additional Dynamos. But in that case, it will be mostly for training and for, let's say, support in terms of technical and expertise support and not as financial support. So it's a bit diverse, the background there. The others, I think, are more administrative, so I leave it for you for later.
No worries. I think I managed now.
We see it, yes.
Yes. Okay, great. I had to restart the presentation. Sorry about the delay. Again, thank you to Claudia for presenting the project. As according to the agenda, I will now go briefly into the open call info session, the open call scope, and how to apply. After which, Caterina Selva will be doing the challenges presentation pitch, which would last for more or less 60 minutes to brief you all on all of the challenges, and then we will go to the Q&A. Okay, about the open call. So what is this open call and what are the objectives of the RURACTIVE Open Call? The objectives, as I think Claudia has also briefly stated on the RURACTIVE project as a general, is to find the innovative solutions addressing rural challenges. The objective of this open call is to foster collaboration between you as innovators and our rural communities within the project, which are also called the Dynamos within the RURACTIVE project. And also the objective of this open call is to accelerate sustainable development in different rural areas across Europe, targeting specifically their specific challenges, their needs, and what have they identified would be the primary goals of their sustainable development. Who can apply briefly, because I will go also in depth in other slides to this open call, are different startups, SMEs, NGOs, universities, and different research centers that have innovative ideas for this open call. While you apply, all of the startups, SMEs, NGOs, and all of the eligible applicants can be from across Europe and all Horizon associated countries, which I will also go in depth through on the other slides. Why should you apply to this open call? So this open call is aimed at you to foster your innovative solutions to address specific rural challenges directly to the rural communities, but also to foster collaboration between yourselves as the innovators, as startups, as SMEs, and to work and collaborate directly with the rural communities and dynamos across Europe. Also about this open call, it is aimed to accelerate the sustainable development in rural areas. So you will not only gain access and work closely and directly with the dynamos across rural Europe, but you will also be on the field directly collaborating and working on accelerating rural development, rural challenges, specific challenges, as well as sustainable development in rural areas. Open call goals are to challenge European innovators to present smart solutions that address specifically the Dynamo's needs. As I've said, it is also to facilitate the co-development of these solutions, to enable to work directly with the innovators, but also rural community members. in order to help deploy a faster solution deployment in the pilot areas directly. As I've said, as we've mentioned previously, you will select the challenge that you would prefer to work for. After you select that challenge, you will, if you are selected, be able to work directly with those rural community members, be able to travel to that rural community and also learn more about their problems in depth and on site. What we also do is engage innovators in the RURACTIVE program. You will get access to experts, to different guidance and tools, not only from F6S, but also from other project partners that we have in a project as a whole. What you do once you select the challenge that you would like to work for, you would deploy the solutions that fit not only the RURACTIVE community's needs, but also that have a high potential for replication, and also which would mean for you new business opportunities across Europe and to maximize impact, not only on that site and in hand on the Dynamo's location, but also throughout the whole Europe. Open call is one open call, but this open call has two different stages. So the difference between the two stages are, we call them stage 1 and stage 2. This right now, what you are applying for is called stage 1. On the stage 1 in the project, we will elect and fund up to 36 different projects. Because we have 12 different dynamos across Europe, this would mean 3 projects for each dynamo, up to 3 projects, sorry, 2 to 4 projects for each dynamo. In each project, we'll have a budget up to each project will have a budget of 5,000 euros, with the total budget of all of the projects and of the call in the first stage being 180,000 euros. Project start date will be in March of 2025. After you are selected and have applied to this stage 1, which we are talking about today, you will go within the program, which will last for 2 months. In this program, you will be able to work directly with the dynamos and the challenge that you have selected. You will be also traveling to the dynamos location and work with that community directly to present your idea for the solution that could solve their challenge. After that program ends, the stage 1 ends, you will be eligible, after the completion of the first stage, you will be eligible to enter the stage 2. The stage 2 will not have an external evaluation of the projects like we have in this stage. It will last of the internal evaluation of each project, meaning that each of the dynamos that you will be working with closely during the stage 1 of the open call will, together with Unipo as the project coordinator and us as the F6S and the open call manager, they will evaluate your proposals internally. So the dynamo that you will be working with will directly feed us their thoughts and their inputs on the projects and on the innovators that they like best, and that they would that have the best idea, also to be funded and moved through the stage 2. In the stage 2, we'll be funding 12 to 24 different projects, meaning each dynamo will receive 1 or 2 projects per the challenge, the dynamo that they have. Also, each project will receive up to 85,000 euros or up to 90,000 euros. Why is there a difference of the 85 and at 85,000 euros and up to 90,000 euros? It means the difference of whether you're applying as the individual applicant or as a consortia made up of 2 entities. So the total budget for the stage 2 is 1,020,000 euros, and all the projects will start hopefully in May of 2025. So all of these projects are also funded on the lump sum financial schema, meaning that you will get the budget upon different kinds of stages, depending on the corresponding stage of the RURACTIVE program. What are the benefits for the applicants of the open call, and why should you apply to this open call? Like we mentioned previously, it gives you directly access to funding, also gives you directly access to travel to the Dynamo location. Also, besides just the funding and the travel, it gives you the opportunity to directly collaborate with the local communities, directly collaborate with the Dynamo partners, choose the real life challenges that are affecting the rural areas, and also gives you opportunity to be the one solving that challenge directly with the local rural community. Also, it allows you the opportunity to receive mentorship and support from the project's partners. It also gives you the benefit to develop and implement the solutions directly on the site, but also gives you visibility within the European innovation ecosystem throughout not just RURACTIVE project partners, but on-site rural partners and rural projects. To go in depth on who can apply to this open call, like I've mentioned, there are two different options that you can apply to. So you can either apply as an individual or as an organization. It really is, the most important thing is that you are registered in the EU member states, associated countries, and specific eligible regions. We've already started getting a lot of questions about the eligible applicants and the eligible countries. For example, Ukraine is eligible, but there is also a specific document in the guidelines for applicants which you can reach and access, and then go through the list of all of the associated countries for Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe programs, where you can see if your country is eligible or not. This open call, as many open calls, also obliges through the Horizon funding rules and Horizon programs, then also can fund only EU member states and associated countries, with the exception of UK. So it funds Ukraine, it funds Switzerland, but UK, unfortunately, cannot be funded within this open call. Eligible applicants are also innovators with specific expertise relevant to the defined challenges. So the Dynamos have defined their challenges and the outcomes they would like to receive from the solutions for those challenges. So it's up to you to offer that expertise, to have chosen the defined challenge, and then to offer your project or the solution to the specific challenge. Applications, like I've said, can be submitted either by a single applicant or a consortia made up of two partners. So as you can see here, the single applicant must be either an SME or a startup acting as a solution provider. It must meet the eligibility criteria under Horizon Europe rules. If it's a consortium made of two applicants, the coordinator applying for the call, and the system will, if you enter to the F6S platform, the system will ask you who is the coordinator to make up of the two applicants of the consortium. The coordinator must be an SME or a startup, and the second member of that consortia can be either an SME or a startup, can be also mid-caps, different researchers or academia. If there is a note for the researchers and academia within the consortia of two applicants, their funding will be capped at 40% of the sub-project budget according to the rules of funding for the researchers and academia. And also all of those members must be can be legally registered rural associations that apply within the consortia of two applicants. The timeline of the project, the call was launched on December 6, 2024. The deadline of submissions is February 5 at 17 Central European Time, meaning Brussels time. So please be sure to take care of the deadline for submissions and apply within that specific deadlines because the applications that arrive after 17 or 5 p.m. Central European Time will not be eligible or be taken into consideration for the evaluation period. Evaluation period will be lasting the entire February, meaning beginning of March 2025. We'll be also contacting and announcing the winners of this open call. Also, all of the applicants will receive the summary report of their evaluation, going through the specific criteria they were evaluated on, and also later on they will receive the redress process, meaning the process that allows for the applicants to ask any questions and to resolve any certain doubts that they might have within this open call. The implementation phase, stage 1, so the stage that you're applying for is lasting from March until May of 2025. And after that, you are eligible to start the stage 2. How does the application process look like for each of the applicants? So each of the applicants can visit the Open Call website. So the link of the Open Call website is ruractive.eu/opencall, where they can see all of the different stages of the process, but they can also go through all of the project's documents, all of the guidelines for applicants, all of the details, actually with detailed instructions on how to ensure their eligibility and review the RURACTIVE program. So I please guide you all to go through and download the guidelines for applicants. It's a very comprehensive document. It ensures the eligibility of all of the questions, all of the applicants, all of the innovators, and gives you detailed instructions and answers any and all questions that you might have. So I would ask you to always go and refer back to that. It is, as we call it, the Open Call Bible, and has most of the answers to the questions that you might have. Then after going through the guidelines for applicants, after reading through all of the links and the documents eligible and there at the ruractive.eu open call site, it's on you to prepare your proposal. So what you can do there is include project details, include impact assessment, include the budget that you were willing to spend, but also very detailedly try to include the details on the challenges that you are about to solve. We would like to see in hands an in-depth explanation of how your proposal, how your project, how your idea might be able to solve the challenges that we have. After preparing the project proposal with the project details, impact assessment, and the budget, it's on you to submit your proposal online. Please use the F6S platform for the submission. Like we said, only F6S platform and the official platform link, which is also available on the RURACTIVE EU website, will be eligible to receive project proposals. If you submit your proposal in any other way, it will not be eligible. While using the F6S platform link, you will have to register there and make your account and have the proposal prepared and be written in the English language. Important thing to note is don't forget to choose the specific challenge while you are applying for the RURACTIVE Open Call for Innovators. And also don't forget to download and use the project template. Your solution proposal is a mandatory document. that should be uploaded in the PDF format directly on the F6S website. What you should do is use the official template available at RURACTIVE website. It's important to note that submissions of non-official templates will be automatically ineligible. And the failure to upload the solution proposal document, where you will actually describe what challenge you aim to address, what specific project and results you are offering. The failure to upload those documents will result in automatic ineligibility of your project. So please go through the project form and the proposal form very in depth, go through it step by step, and don't forget to upload your solution proposal. It is available on the project's website on ruractive.eu Open Call, where you can download the PDF file and input all of the details necessary there. Additional support and resources that we offer for the RURACTIVE Open Call. We'll have a second webinar 2, where we'll go more in depth into step-by-step procedure and through the F6S portal, how it looks like, what you should take in count of. Will be held on the January 30th of 2025 at the same time as this webinar, so at 10 a.m. Central European Time. It will also be recorded and made available on our social media sites like YouTube, but also on our website. Also, if you have any further questions that aren't answered through these presentations, through this open call, you can always access the FAQ, so frequently asked questions documents that we have prepared for you on our website, which has detailed answers and templates there, and has most of the answers to your frequently asked questions. Also, you can always visit the website ruractive.eu/open call to see any and all answers to your questions. But also, you can always email us at opencall@ruractive.eu with any direct questions that you might have, or simply ask away in this chat box that you have. And yeah, we're open to any and all questions. Please feel free to either raise your hand or ask away in the Q&A function. But I don't want to be too long. I'll stop sharing now and then give my word to Caterina Selva from Unibo, who will present to you the challenges in depth of all of our dynamos and go through what are their problems and what they want to be solved within this open call. So Caterina, I'll give the floor to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Caterina. I'm with the Unibo team in RURACTIVE, and I am the lead of work package for the co-development of solution in rural innovation ecosystem for inclusive community-led development. So the process that Claudia explained to you a moment before. I am gonna share my screen, and I'm quickly gonna go through each dynamo and each of their challenges. We have a total of 30 challenges for 12 dynamos. I would be happy to put it full screen. Give me a second. Nope. Here? No. Okay. Well, I think you can see it this way as well. As Josefa reminded you, very important, your application is targeting specific challenges for specific dynamos. So dynamos, through this co-development process with their stakeholders, have come up with challenges. They go from 1 to 3 for each dynamo. So it's very important that you read and you apply with a proposal that target those challenges. We are very lucky today because we have Dynamos partners of the project with us. So please, if you have any specific questions for any of the challenges or in general for the Dynamos, raise your hand or put it in the chat, in the Q&A, pardon me. And after I finish this little presentation, we can directly answer to any of the questions that have not been answered in the chat. And we will give the floor also to Dynamos that are here that want to directly answer those questions. So we can start with our first Dynamo. Our first Dynamo is in Finland, in Northern Ostrobothnia. The partner of reference is the University of Oulu. And the territory that we have in this case is a coastal and inner area. And the area is the one of the Joki River Basin, which is an area with about 10,000 inhabitants distributed in 14 villages or communities. And the challenges or the RDDs that the challenges are addressing, so as Claudia said, RDDs is like rural development drivers, and very important in understanding also the challenges are local services, health and well-being, and sustainable multimodal mobility. So the first challenge that we have for these Dynamos is the one of creating a digital platform for operationalizing the village janitor system. And the second one is a digital platform for bettering logistics, so finding synergies and organizing transportation of goods in remote rural areas. Going on to the second Dynamo, we are moving to Austria, so to Südburgenland. And the two partners that we have are BAB and VAB. The territory in this case is a mountainous territory with an area of around 1,471 square meters and 72 rural communities. And there's a number of RDD that this Dynamo has decided to address with their challenges. It's nature-based and cultural tourism, culture and cultural innovation, sustainable agri-food systems and ecosystem management, local services, health and well-being, and sustainable multimodal mobility. We have 3 challenges for these Dynamos. Challenge number 3 is smart digital tourism and accessibility solution for Southern Burgenland. Challenge 4 is an innovative solution for a cooling system for the grape harvest. And challenge number 5 is cycling without age. Moving on, we're going to Spain, one of the 2 Dynamos that we have in Spain. This one is Diputación Zamora. So the 2 partners to interface with is Diputación de Zamora and Fundación Cartif. It's a mountainous and inner area, the Zamora province, that has a number of around 167, 200,000 inhabitants, on an area of about 10,561 square kilometers with 520 population centers. In this case, the RDDs that are addressed by the 3 challenges that the Dynamos has chosen together with their stakeholders are culture and cultural innovation, sustainable agri-food systems and ecosystem management, and local services, health and well-being. The 3 challenges are challenge number 6, digital revitalization of rural medieval heritage. Challenge number 7 is innovative tools for fire risk monitoring. And challenge number 8 is digital healthcare for dispersed rural population. Dynamo number 4 is in the UK, North East Scotland, and the 2 partners are Grobitz, Scotland, and the James Hutton Institute. It's an inner area, the North East Scotland area. There's a number of 915,000 inhabitants on an area of about 16,274 square meters. In this case, we also have 3 challenges that fits in the RDD of sustainable agri-food system and ecosystem management, energy transition and climate neutrality, and local services, health and well-being. The 3 challenges are challenge number 9, to develop technologies or tools to help Scottish farmers to plan, measure, and monitor uses of their land better. Challenge number 10 is digital tools to help level up the rural monetary or other benefits flowing back to rural communities from the green energy sector. And challenge 11 is artistic and creative cultural solutions to help older people stay mentally and physically active and sociable, enabling them to take a proactive approach to improving their health and well-being. Dynamo number 5 is the second dynamo in Spain. This time it's in Andalusia, and the partner is Asociación Balam API. The territory is the one of an inner rural area with around 620,000 inhabitants on an area of 923.6 square kilometers. In this case, the Dynamo has proposed one single challenge, which fits in the Sustainable Agri-Food System and Ecosystem Management RDD. So this is challenge number 12, which is to develop user-friendly digital platform for water footprint calculation of agri-food products, diets, or recipes. Moving on, we go to Greece, to our Dynamo number 6, Zagori, and the partner is the Eco Museum, Zagori. It's a mountainous region with about 3,800 inhabitants on an area of 995.3 square kilometers. They have proposed 3 challenges for the RDD of sustainable multimodal mobility, sustainable agri-food systems and ecosystem management, and nature-based and cultural tourism. In this case, we have challenge number 13, which is community-driven multimodal mobility solution. Challenge 14, water-saving solutions for rural communities. And challenge 15, accessibility in nature-based and cultural tourism for people living with disabilities. This disappeared for some reason. Here we go. It just took a while, but we skip one dynamos. All right. So Dynamo number 7 is a Dynamo in the Ukraine and is Zakarpattia. The partner of reference is Forza Agency for Sustainable Development, and it's a mountainous territory. There's about 1,026,000 inhabitants on an area of 12,800 square kilometers. And the Dynamo has proposed 3 challenges as well in the RDD of sustainable agri-food systems and ecosystem management, nature-based and cultural tourism, and local services, health and well-being. Those 3 challenges are challenge number 16, about improving beekeeping productivity and honey quality in high-altitude Zakarpattia. Then we have challenge 17, about improving data availability in the tourism and hospitality sector. And challenge number 18, for smart street lights for increased safety of inhabitants and tourists. Dynamo number 8 is one of the 2 dynamos in Italy, in this case Fiastra and the partner is APS Borgo Futuro. It's an inner rural area with about 11,764 inhabitants on an area of 180,000 square kilometers. The challenges are related to the RDDs of culture and cultural innovation, sustainable agri-food systems and ecosystem management, and local services, health and well-being. They also have proposed 3 challenges. 19 is Borgo Futuro Festival Sustainability and Climate Resilient Infrastructure. Then we have 20 Smart Water Management Solution for Drought-Resilient Agro-Ecosystem. And then challenge 21, which is setting up a direct distribution system for a sustainable local market. Dynamo number 9 is the Dynamo in Croatia, in Zadar. And we have 2 partners here, Grad Zadar and Urbanex. In this case, the territory is the one of an archipelago, so with islands. And there's about 1,455 inhabitants on an area of about 25 square kilometers. And the 2 challenges that the Dynamo has proposed, they both have to do with the Sustainable Agri-Food Systems and Ecosystem Management RDD. Challenge 22 is about innovative solution for biowaste management and reuse on island, while challenge 23 is about wastewater treatment systems. We then have our second dynamo in Italy, in the region of Abruzzo. The partner is this case in Borghin, Rete di Imprese, and it's a mountainous and inner area that has about 1,294,000 inhabitants on an area of 10,831 square kilometers. We also have, again, 3 challenges here in the RDDs of culture and cultural innovation, local services, health and well-being, and sustainable multimodal mobility. Challenge 24 is innovative solution for enhancing shared multimodal mobility service. Challenge 25, fostering habitat beyond welfare. And challenge 26, titled Building Bridges, Enhancing Community Cooperation Through Shared and Community-Based Governance Systems. Dynamo 11, it's in Sweden, and it's Gotland. Gotland has 2 partners as well, which is Region Gotland and the Uppsala University. It's an island, in this case, with 62,000 inhabitants on an area of 384 square kilometers, 3,184 square kilometers. They have proposed 2 challenges that have the RDDs of energy transition and climate neutrality and sustainable multimodal mobility. We then have challenge 27, which is digital tool for guidance and prioritization of energy measures in the properties and activities of volunteer-based non-profit organizations. And challenge 28 for a sustainable and inclusive carpooling solution. Finally, our last dynamo in Switzerland, the village of Turbel, has the Berner Fachhochschule as a partner. So it's a mountainous territory with about 498 inhabitants on an area of 17.6 square kilometers. They have proposed 2 challenges, and those 2 challenges have to do with 3 RDDs: sustainable agri-food systems and ecosystem management, local services, health and well-being, and culture and cultural innovation. Challenge 29 is the commons of Turbel, efficient water usage for agricultural irrigation. And challenge 30 is revitalization of the village center, creation of common indoor and outdoor meeting places. Before concluding this quick going through each challenge in each dynamo and opening the floor to question, I just wanted to show you briefly where you can find all the information about each challenge. So if you navigate on the website of RURACTIVE and you go under Open Call, you can click on the dynamo, for example, dynamo number 1. You'll see the challenges over here. And if you click on challenge 1, you can read the title, a brief summary, and get directed to a template in which you find all the information, including the context, the scope of the challenge, the solution requirement as well, the objectives, and the available resources. So please, this is very important because in this sector of the website, you can find all the information that you need to develop your proposal for the dynamo. I'm happy to stop sharing and see if, Josefa, you can let me know if there's any question that we might want to answer, if we would be happy to ask the dynamos to answer.
Exactly. We've received quite a few questions which have been which were answered both by Luisa, myself, and Claudia as well. But we have also received some raised hands. So I will ask Julio Asensio because he, I believe, raised their hands the first and also asked a lot of questions in the Q&A which haven't been answered. So I'll give the floor, Julio, to you to ask a question away, and then we'll see if either Katerina answers, because your question is based specifically to Zadar Dynamo, or either Katerina or a Dynamo member from the Zadar Dynamo. So go ahead, Julio, the floor is yours.
Yes, hello. Hi. Can you listen to me?
Yes, we can. Hi, Julio.
Yeah, hi. Thank you very much for everything. Well, I represent UVRER. We're a French company specialized in UV, ultraviolet light solutions, and we're interested in challenge number 23 in Zadar, Croatia, to treat wastewater, gray water from a school. We have already the template, and we have already read all the guideline and template. Nevertheless, we need to adapt and we need to tailor our solution to the real need in Zadar for the wastewater from the school in Zadar, Croatia. We need a lot of technical information because we cannot fulfill the template without knowing the volume of water, the kind of water. We don't know the kind of crop that will be irrigated with the wastewater treated and disinfected by ultraviolet light. So we need to know a lot of things to adapt and to propose and to fulfill the template that you ask. Because without this information, we can just fulfill the template with hypothetical information. So how can we get all this technical data?
Claudia, do you want to answer?
Yes, I can. Then I don't know if somebody from Zadar would also like to enter into this. Thank you very much, Fulvio, for the question. It makes very much sense. But I believe, I mean, you will have to consider this as I don't know if you ever responded to a European, let's say, call. So the idea is that you have to propose an idea for a solution that should be feasible within the budget that we give you. So of course you have to say, okay, with this budget, I'm able, for example, to treat this amount of water and to do this amount of water irrigation. I don't know what you're thinking about. Then, of course, in between stage 1 and stage 2, you will have the possibility to get the data from Zadar and to present to them then a solution that is much more adaptive. So meaning that if you get to the second stage, then of course you're going to get all the technical requirements you need. Then again, if, and this is something that I don't know, so I'm happy if Zadar would like to enter into this, if they do have some data regarding general information, I mean, what you mentioned, like the overall volume to be treated, for example, I mean, it is something that we may even put in the FAQ so that everybody have this information and you're all departing from the same level in terms of transparency. So we can definitely go and check, but I'm not sure they know exactly like this kind of data. So it could even be that this is something that will come anyhow in the second phase. I don't know if there is anybody from
Anna is here. We can see. I've allowed you to talk, Anna. I don't know if you want to intervene.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So as Claudia was saying, maybe you can send us which general information do you require, and then we can find the answers through our institutions and other departments in the city and try to answer them for the first phase. And then if you go further, then we can discuss in details about the data you need.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. To whom I sent?
You can go for this. No, sorry, Josefa.
No worries. You can send it to opencall@ruractive.com. That is the central email address where we collect everything. It links to all of the panelists here that you see. But also what I just wanted to add, so in the first stage, you will be presenting your idea and your proposal, which you will then work together after if you are selected, work together with the Dynamo, where they will directly give you, okay, this and this, all of the information that you require. After your work together with them, you will enter, and after the completion of the first stage, you will enter to the second stage, where the stage lasts much longer, and also it involves the actual deployment of that solution within the Dynamo location. But in any case, if you are willing to even include some specific information, not just for you, Julio, but for everybody, if you require some specific information from the Dynamos that we can collect, please do send us an email and we'll put you in contact with the Dynamo directly to ask the questions to them specifically and to give the region and context relevant answers. I hope, Julio, that answers all of the questions that you might have.
Josefa, sorry, just to clarify on this, because there were several questions that I was trying to replying about how does it work, the contact with the Dynamos. I think this is pretty important. So first of all, the main entry point, as Josefa mentioned, is always the general email. So you should always be writing to opencall@ruractive.eu. Then we may put you in direct contact with the Dynamo if it's needed. Of course, the Dynamos know that they are not supposed in this phase to co-develop the idea with you. So in case you need some technical data, as the one that Julio was mentioning, and they have them, then it's fine. In case you need a local partner, there is also an option because you can partner up with local partners that the Dynamo may redirect you to, let's say. So in case you know exactly what you need, of course, you can again contact them, because in any case, the evaluation of the first stage is going to be done by external evaluators. So neither us, neither the Dynamo, again, for transparency issue, that's very important to highlight again, neither us and neither the Dynamo will or can enter into the evaluation phase of stage 1. Because there were many questions regarding whether I'm from the same region or from the same country, is this going to be evaluated, let's say, good somehow, because I do speak the same language and I don't have language barriers? Nope. We actually discussed this with the Commission because this was something that we were considering as a plus, let's say, but the Commission mentioned explicitly that since this is a EU-wide interest call, we will not make in stage 1 any preference for applicants coming from same region and country. Nevertheless, in stage 2, since it's the Dynamo and are also the stakeholder of the Dynamo's part of the evaluation process, it may be a plus that you speak the language and you know the territory. But for stage 1, no, there's nothing there that we can do.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, girls. Nevertheless, in the template, you ask to explain how our technology or innovation could set all the priorities and all the objectives. And we have several kind of solutions following water quality. So it's very difficult for us to fulfill the template with the information that you are asking us to explain how. We don't know how many sodium is in the water, how dirt is the water. So we can give you the information that you are asking us in the template just based on hypothesis.
Yes, makes sense. Again, with this, just send us a question and through the email exactly the answers that you need. We'll give it to Zadar and they will directly answer.
Thank you, Josepa.
Why we didn't include is because you can imagine we have 12 different Dynamos. Each has 2 to 3 challenges. It would be, I guess, quite overwhelming for all of the innovators to have all.
I understand. It's because in the template you ask a lot of information.
No worries.
We can give exactly what you ask, but we need to know what kind of water, for example.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thank you, Julio, for the question. Just send us an email, exactly what you need. We'll forward it to the Dynamo, which will answer your question.
Understood, Josepa. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, then let me just check. I'll first go through the raised hands and then we'll go back to the Q&A, which we haven't answered thus far. Meanwhile, my colleague Luisa is answering any and all questions that you might have. I see Enrico Zambrotti has raised a hand, so I will allow you to talk and to ask away your question.
Yeah, Hello. This is connected to what Julio was asking, because basically also related to the challenge 26. In the datasheet challenge, I find that that is quite important to target the project on the Dynamo's needs and ongoing or planned activities. And as this is a network of cooperatives, guessing each cooperative is doing something different, it would be useful to know something more about these needs and activities. But I understood that the answer to this is just writing a mail to opencall@ruractive.eu, right?
Exactly. Any specific questions that you need specifically related to the Dynamo, we would put you in contact with them. Yeah, just we try to permit that just in phase of the volume. Like I've said, there's a lot of Dynamos, a lot of challenges that we have. Quite every challenge is quite specific, as Katarina has went through all of them. You can see they're quite different. So yeah, in any specific issues that you might have, similar to what Julio has asked, where you need input from the Dynamo, yeah, please send us an email and we'll keep in contact. Claudia, I want to add.
I don't know if that was you, because there were so many questions. I just answered to somebody that asked for more information regarding the cooperative, and I included the name of the municipalities that were included. But I don't know if it was you, but if you check the question.
Yeah, I can see the municipalities, but at this point, I don't know if I can contact them directly, because you were saying that we should contact OpenCall@RURACTIVE instead.
Also because the municipality are not directly involved. They're involved through Borghi in Rete, that is the partner of RURACTIVE, so may even not be super aware of what you're asking there. So it's much easier if you just contact the overall email.
Okay. Thanks. Just another question. On which basis will be the application evaluated? Only on the basis of what we can find directly on the RURACTIVE website? I mean, the challenge data sheet, obviously, for Dynamos, should I take in consideration only the information I find on your website?
Yes, thank you for the question. Let me answer that directly. Because we have two separate webinars, we figured to talk on this webinar more in depth on the challenges. And on the second webinar, we'll talk more in depth on the evaluation criteria, how it's handled and how it's done. But nevertheless, you will be evaluated based on 4 different specters. So all of your application in general will be evaluated. First will be, let's say, 25% of the evaluation criteria. It's all equally. So it's 4 different criteria, evaluated 25% of the grade. First one is the relevance to the challenge. So your alignment of your solution with the goals and needs, which are outlined in a specific challenge. And then you will be also evaluated based on the practical implementation potential of the solution. Is it feasible? Can it be done within the scope and the timeline of the stage 2, which will be the implementation stage? Then also you'll be evaluated on the impact of that solution. So specific socioeconomic benefits, environmental benefits for the rural area where you are implementing the solution. And then also skills, experience of the team and the capacity of your team to actually employ and deploy this solution. So any and all previous experience that you might have, the CVs that you upload, and so basically the whole application as a whole will be evaluated based on how you answer to that. Luisa, Claudia, Kate, anything that I've missed? Enrico, also, if you want to.
No, I think, just that, as you mentioned, those are the criteria that the external evaluators are going to be considering. Then concerning what you mentioned regarding the available data and the possibility to actually further develop and tailor the idea with the dynamos, that is supposed to happen between stage 1 and stage 2. So of course, if you need any kind of a context or anything that we do already have, we're going to share that with you as with all the other potential applicants. But then the idea is really that you get to stage 1 in case you're funded and you further tailor that. So we are expecting you to propose, let's say, groundbreaking solution, innovative solution. There are, justified in the criteria that Josipa mentioned, and then already, of course, tailored to the challenge and so everything we can provide you with and everything you can find is gonna make that even more, let's say, good in terms of evaluation, but then the real tailoring and adapting is actually happening in between the two stages when you will have the possibility to get there.
Okay. I understand.
Thank you, Enrico, for your question.
Thank you.
Moving on to Riccardo Ruggeri, who also has their hand raised. Please, I'll allow you to talk and you can ask your question.
Yes, thank you. So my question actually it's pretty easy, and somehow in the Q&A box someone asked about it, but I wanted some more specific information, and it's about subcontractors. So because in my case, so I would like to apply for a challenge in which it is required somehow at a point to design also some architectural devices. So this process needs for sure, I guess, like the collaboration with some technical experts. So I wanted to know if it is possible to have some contractors for like during the stage 2. And if so, if we must highlight this thing maybe into the budget. So to imagine that we have a budget, a cost about subcontraction of subcontractors for technical needs.
Yes, thanks for the question. Well, the call is based on the lump sum schema, which doesn't really require you to make the specific payment or a budget schedule. It has a specific payment schedule based on the timeline and the inputs that you provide. So we'll go also more in depth in the second webinar on the payment scheme, how it works, because it has different payment schedules based on the input and the deliverables that you provide. So the lump sum is basically a payment based on the achievement of a milestone. We do not require you to make any sort of reports. And the implementation of the solution really depends on you. How you can do it is following the stages, following the financial support that is provided to you. But if you have any subcontracting details, that is fine. On our side, it's really based on you, how you will develop and really spend the money that you allocated. It only really we require that we, in order to monitor your progress, to see different kinds of stages and different kinds of milestones, let's say, and to receive those payments.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Luisa, Claudia, Kata, nothing to add? If we've answered, thank you, Ricardo.
Yes, this is very important, Luisa, what you mentioned, that there won't be any, because there were some questions, financial reporting asked, but the dynamos are going to be the one that are going to tell F6S if they can pay you. So, if you're not implementing the solution as you were supposed to in the plan, the dynamos are going to warn F6S that is doing the financial management. So, Josipa and Luisa here. So, yeah, concerning the subcontracting, Ricardo, I believe you will just have to follow the national rules there. So, in case you have to open a bid and, the 3 calls or whatever, but it's not something that we're going to check.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Thank you, Ricardo. Okay, I'll give the floor now to Daniel Rad to ask also his question because yes, it's hand raised. Go ahead, Daniel, you can ask away.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi. Okay, so yeah, I know as I wrote in the questions and the question and answers too, but just on the whole Scotland, the Northeast Scotland thing, who is that directed at if it's not for UK, or is that not eligible as part of this open call out? So Scotland shouldn't be on the list in theory. Or is it for EU nationals wanting to work in Scotland?
So it's quite a tricky question.
Yes, sorry about that.
No worries. Not for you, it's for the whole, I guess it encompasses the whole EU-UK relationship.
Yeah.
As of the last few years. So UK-based organization cannot be funded under this call. But as we have Scotland as a partner there, they were funded by a specific UK organization, which specifically funded their participation in the project. For us to fund the innovators applying from the UK, they need to be funded by a UK-based organization. So as of the European Commission rules, they are not allowed, we are not allowed to fund any UK organizations in the EU projects kicked off before 2024. And RURACTIVE as a project has started in 2023, which is kind of a tricky rule because we do have this entity in the project, which is Scotland, which is funded not by the European Commission, but by the UK Research Institute. But as this open call considers the whole of Europe, and basically the applicants that can apply to different kinds of challenges, different kinds of dynamos. It doesn't have to be necessarily rurally connected, which were also a couple of questions we've answered directly in the chat. But the issue is the funding, basically, because the European Commission has strict rules on funding of the UK-based organization. So this encompasses the entirety of the United Kingdom, concerning also Scotland, Northern Ireland, and well, basically any and all entities that encompass UK. Luis,
can I ask one question, one extra question? So if I'm a UK citizen, no longer EU citizen, unfortunately for me, can I still apply for this to go, for example, in Sweden? Because what I'm working on currently is projects across the EU and the UK and Japan on rural mobility. And so that's what I'm looking at. And I'm just wondering if I'm still eligible as a single person or an organization to apply. So our organization's UK based. So
yeah. Also, it really doesn't depend on the single individuals where they're based, but where the organization is based. So where the organization has been funded and where they're based. We've also received some questions, for example, on the applicants. If they have a bigger company, if one part of the company is registered here and the other part is there, it really depends where the local entity who is applying, where they are registered. So the employees and their residents, really, it's all fine. From our side, it's the company who is the SME, the individual or the consortium leading partner where they are legally registered. Luisa, is there anything that I've missed that you want to add?
No, that's correct. Well, that's all.
Daniel, I hope we answered your question.
yeah, thank you very much.
Sure. Okay. Also, I'm just want to remind also any and all dynamos that want to jump in once we are answering the questions to just please raise your hand so we can see you above all of the other attendees. And yeah, feel free to also try to ask your questions in the chat as well.
Yes, sorry, Josipa, just to add one thing, because I can see Dynamos is with the name Catarina Selva. If they could change just for us to identify them when they answer the question.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for that reminder. Okay, I'll move on to the question of Igor Suvorov, who has raised their hand. Igor, go ahead and ask your question live.
Thank you very much. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Yes, thank you very much for the interesting presentation. And I would like to actually kind of follow up on the question from the colleagues before. And it's regarded the Dynamo in Zadar and Challenge 22, because our issue is that for the maximizing the impact of the intervention, we would need the collaboration not only of the municipality, because we're planning a kind of full-scale intervention in the targeted area, but also the involvement of local communities. And in the initial stages, it is very difficult to get to the communities unless getting in touch with the municipality. And maybe that was already mentioned, but I kind of missed that. If yes, sorry about that. But at this stage, in the stage one, can we automatically get in touch with people from the given Dynamo listed on the website and bring them on board as consortium partners? This is the thing number one. And option number two, if it is possible to get in touch with them and request additional information, data, and have some, let's say, discussions about the options for the project in order to make that really appropriate and in line with the local parameters and needs. Thank you very much.
No worries. If I understood correctly, so you're asking also the collaboration and the work that you will be doing together with the Dynamos, if I understood correctly. So what you will be doing in the first phase is presenting your solution and your proposal to the selected challenge. You will be offering your insights and your expertise previously to that. And then once you are selected in the first stage, you will be you'll be able to work directly with the Dynamo and also the stakeholders that are involved in that Dynamo. So what you will do and what everybody will must do is travel to the Dynamo location, have an in-person meeting with them, and together with them try to collaborate and form this kind of second stage, really long-lasting term solution in order in the second stage so you can implement your proposal.
All right, thank you very much. That is clear. And the stage two.
I can also maybe add on this. I can try to clarify some other aspects that I think you mentioned that are pretty much the same that we mentioned before. So the idea is that if you need a local partner, and partner means there is an association, an NGO, another SME, a research center, or whatever that is coming from the Dynamos territory, and you want them to formally be part of your consortium, yes, definitely you can contact them. We can also try to, let's say, facilitate you to understand who will be the right partner to join you in the consortium. And then you can, of course, co-develop together with them the application that you want to submit. In case you were referring to the city of Zadar, there is RURACTIVE partner and Dynamo. Being a RURACTIVE partner, of course, they cannot participate in the open call. So they cannot be part of your consortium. What they can do, and this is what we mentioned before as well, if you write a formal email to Open Call RURACTIVE, we can forward that to them. We can even put them in contact directly with you. But in that case, what we need to do for transparency reason is, in case you are asking for any concrete data and they're able to provide that data, then we're going to include this in the FAQ document in the website so that all other potential applicants also have access to this information.
All right, understood. So if I got that correctly, the best way is to send you a direct email listing all my questions.
Correct.
Say one would be one field is about the data that we need. The other one, the second issue would be, let's say, the spectrum of potential partners. And number three, miscellaneous. And then you facilitate the discussion.
Correct.
Perfect. And the last one, as for the application, so there is a form on your website listing also things for the stage number 2. And in the stage 1, we apply through that open call for innovators technical proposal template. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Yes. So including what I would recommend, like I've said in the presentation as well, what I would recommend firstly is go through the website to see all of the information, read through the guidelines for applicants, which has a lot of information there and answers a lot of questions. But also please make sure to read through all of the documents. And once you apply, you will have this eligibility. You will have this small box that has upload the document templates, and that is the template that you can find on the official website. I think I've already answered this question in the Q&A, so you can see directly if you click on that link that I've sent. Let me just try to find it. You will see the link directly leads to that template, which you will have to fill in. Again, like we've mentioned previously, not just to you, but also to other participants and other questions, is we are doing this first stage with an external evaluation, meaning that we will employ specific independent evaluators, which are not related to this consortium or to us, which we will then blindly, let's say, go through your applications and evaluate based on what you write in your applications. So any and all dynamos can apply to any and all innovators can apply to any and all dynamos and rural so to solve their rural solutions. It doesn't necessarily have to be from the same community. If you would prefer to do that, yes, you can contact the dynamo to put you in contact with somebody who might be eligible for you. But that meaning that, for example, an innovator from Sweden can solve the solution for the dynamo in Zadar or in Spain and so on. So really, it's all about inclusivity and including and giving the opportunity to all Europe to participate and solve the challenges directly in the dynamos.
Right, thank you. And the form, I was just scrolling through the chat, and maybe I'm just blind, which is also not excluded. The form that you mentioned, was that some sort of a declaration, right, of something?
Yes, it's the answer to Julio Asensio's question asked at 10:27. I just see it now. But
1027, okay.
if you ask it away, I will just copy paste and answer you directly with the link.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
No worries, Igor.
Thank you very much.
Then we'll move on to Pablo Gomez Romero, who is the last remaining person with their hands raised, after which we'll go through the Q&A. Pablo, you have your hand raised? Yeah, please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you in advance for your time and your explanation. It will be very meaningful for us. I just texted my question on chat, and it's regarding one of our dynamos in Spain, is Zamora. And we read the challenges, and concretely in one of them, we are not sure about where we are gonna apply. Why? Because it appears the region, but not the municipalities, not the towns. So our question is, can we develop our proposal in any town of this region, or should be located in specifically one of the cities that the Dynamo chosen before?
I think it's perfect for Jose. I mean, we have the
Exactly.
dynamo here, and this is very much in line with the kind of question we can reply in this webinar. So if we can give to Jose the right to speak, Jose, maybe you can directly answer.
Give me just a second to search.
Pablo, meanwhile, could you specify which challenge are you referring to? It's the medieval heritage or?
Is the challenge 6, digital rehabilitation of rural medieval heritage?
Yeah. Thank you.
I believe I've given
Hello,
the
can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pablo, for your concern, for trying to apply for this challenge. It is true that we don't have any specific municipalities about this regarding this challenge. We need to apply for some municipalities where we can, when there are some medieval sites. For example, in the challenge, you can see that there is, we are talking about the Castrotrafe Castle.
Yep.
But also we can apply, or we can see in the stage 1, for example, we can see other heritage medieval sites. For example, Castle of Puebla de Sanabria, in the monastery of the Moleruela. We can check some between 1 or 5 sites. What we need in this challenge is that the proposal could be applied in this kind of sites, medieval sites. I don't know if it.
Yeah, you answer our question perfectly, Jose.
Okay.
We are looking for the site in Arribes del Duero, in Zamora. We are identifying some monasteries or churches.
Yes.
We're applying there. Okay.
Yes. Perhaps if you need more detailed info about that, you can write me.
Great.
Email that we can even talk through the telephone and answer to your questions. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much, Jose, and the rest of the team.
Thank you, both Pablo and Jose, for answering. Like we said previously,
Just maybe, just as we said for other applicants, not maybe Jose to contact you through the phone or directly. Pablo, you can send an email and then we will send it over to Jose and then you can totally answer.
Sorry,
Yeah? Okay.
sorry,
No worries. No worries. That was a very kind offer. It's just to
I
keep
like
it.
to be kind with people and.
I know you're a marvelous person. So
appreciated for both parts. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, it seems like we are done with the hands raised. If anybody else, let me just lower the hands. Jose and Pablo were the last hands raised. Let me just go through the chat one more time and see which questions haven't been answered. So I'll go from the top. Nargis, sorry for butchering the names. Nargis Hebatova asked, thank you, Lisa, for your response. I still have some concerns whether cybersecurity training platform for rural digital transformations aligns with the culture and rural innovation RDD. Could you clarify how relevant it is to the call? And also, can applicants from Azerbaijan apply? Thank you for the help. Luis, I'll ask you because you were probably already answering before.
Yes.
Can you answer?
Yes. Sure. So Nargis asked a little bit about if the challenge, if her project fits to the challenge. So it's quite tricky for us to answer now because we would need to go through all the solution in order to check if it fits or not. So it would be up to the evaluators, of course, in the future. But I would recommend, as I told her, to go through the website and check and read carefully the details of the challenge, because there we detailed very well the challenge, so he can check if it fits or not. And of course, if there is any questions, you can reach out to us through email, and then we can go through and try to detail more on and elaborate more on the response. Because now it's quite difficult for us to say, okay, it fits or it does not fit. So, and the second part is regarding Azerbaijan, that if it's an eligible country or not. I have just checked here on the list, and it's eligible because it's an associated country of EU. So
Great. Thanks, Luisa. If you have any additional questions, you can always raise your hand and ask them live or just send in a chat. Okay, moving on to the questions asked in a chat. I'll also ask Luisa to answer this one, if that's okay for me to read it through. As a UK entity, Jonathan asks, do we have the capacity to pay for our own costs related to project implementation in an EU-based dynamo? If we cannot find supportive UK funding, will the pertinent dynamo still be open to collaborate?
Yes, so this is a bit tricky because since European Commission cannot fund UK companies, but of course, if there is an additional funding to bring, it would be okay. But still, we need to check and confirm with the PO if it is not an official entity. But I've been participating in a project previously that this question was also raised, and we needed to check with the European Commission first before accepting or not the company, because this company was more interested in participating without a funding just for the experience. But we still need to consult the European Commission first. So my suggestion here is to apply and then highlight this on the proposal. Okay, we are coming with our own fundings. We are from UK. We are aware of the rules, and then we are going to double check with the European Commission about that.
Great, thanks, Luisa.
I can just add on this to Jonathan. I mean, thank you very much. I think it's, yeah, it's very nice, your comment and proposal. Even though that won't be possible because of the process that Luisa mentioned, then of course I believe that Dynamo will be more than happy to still collaborate with you if you have your own budget and resources. So you can go through, and you should go through the formal application. But then in case this is not possible for any kind of bureaucratic reason, please do contact us back and tell us who's the Dynamo that you would like to work with, because I'm sure that with any other than let's say agreement or like partnership, all the dynamos would be more than happy to collaborate with you if you have a relevant solution. So please do stay in touch.
Exactly. Thank you, Claudia. There is an additional question from Jonathan, which I will, because it links to this one, it's quite similar. They're basically asking a similar question, but with an addition, will the Dynamo be open to collaborate? Like Claudia said, yes, they're always happy to collaborate. Please, we urge everybody to submit your application nonetheless. And then once we evaluate, each of the applicants will receive a summary report of their application and the reasoning behind their grading based on the external evaluations. Okay, thank you again for the question. Moving on to another question from Pavel Flog. Pavel is asking, hello, I would like to ask about the challenge number 2. How Dynamo is connected with Burgenland mobile application in Burgi, and if it's necessary to connect with this application, or can we offer our solution? Kate, I don't know if you know specific question at the end to this or not. I will ask also one of our Dynamo members to raise their hand and answer.
I'm happy to just give a review of the information that we have and then ask. I see Klaus is here, so I don't know, but if somebody else also wants to answer from the Dynamos, really, I'm really more than happy to hear them. But so this is listed as an available resource that the Dynamo can provide and has the knowledge of, together with data on tourism, organization, and data from nature parks and cultural heritage sites. So I think it's important to know, like it is important to know what exists also to set the ground for the innovation of your new proposal, right? So this is something that is available to be studied, to be kind of to plug onto, but it's important also to notice that the innovation need to have an innovative and added value, right? So I'm happy if Klaus wants to come in and maybe provide further clarification on the application and the relations with it, the 2 applications actually, because it's 2 of them, 2 digital application. Klaus, you've been permitted to speak.
Yes, thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello to all. I'm sorry, but better information could be provided from Thomas Böhm or from VIB. I'm not so involved in these details. I'm very sorry.
That is completely okay, don't worry. So I would suggest Pavel to just send an email, and then we will send it back, and Thomas will be able to answer with this information, those clarification, and we will put it in the frequently asked question documents for everyone. Don't worry, Klaus.
No, that Thomas is also in the call, maybe.
I thought, okay.
I don't know.
Klaus, do you know? I'm trying to see.
Raise your, yeah.
Excellent, perfect.
I've added him to respond if he is able to.
I think we might be hearing you, Thomas.
Heard? No?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If the question refers to challenge number 3, to the digital tourism, I can add that there are existing things from the tourism board, and we thought about the challenge, what additional to this can be innovative to have new offers in providing solutions for families, for children, to have new innovative access to nature and cultural heritage sites.
Well,
I think this is the challenge in we're referring to, that we have no innovative digital solutions for nature and cultural heritage in the nature parks.
Great. Thanks, Thomas, for that. If there is something else unclear, you can always raise your hand and ask Thomas and Klaus directly regarding to this challenge. From what I've seen, okay, if there's no follow-up questions, I see another question asked in the Q&A chat. An anonymous attendee asks, hello, I would like to ask about the budget. Do you have some advice how to fill in a table? In this call, do we plan for stage 1 and stage 2 at once? And where can I find what is direct cost and what is an indirect cost? Thank you for your question. In this open call, the payment that is made towards the applicants who are eligible and are selected in the first and second stage is a lump sum, meaning that there is no need for you to distinguish between direct and indirect costs in your budget proposal. For the budget table, we definitely recommend that you focus on the main categories of expenses which are related to your project. So, for example, materials, personnel, travel, and so on. You should, while making the proposal and while crafting your application, plan for both the stage 1 and stage 2 at once. Even though these are two specific different evaluations. So for the stage 1, like we mentioned, there will be an external impartial, not related evaluation to this consortium. For the second stage, the dynamos will be asked, the dynamos that you will be working with, they will be asked to go through and give feedback on your process in the stage 1. So definitely while filling in your application for not just the budget, but anything, plan for both stage 1 and stage 2 at once. So your application should cover the full project duration. We would ensure that your budget aligns with your work plan and your proposed activities. but nonetheless, you will receive the payments based on the reports that you made throughout the stages progression, which will go more in depth on the second webinar. I hope that answers your question. I don't know if there is anybody else that has any last minute questions, doubts, concerns. You can either, like we said, raise your hand and we can allow you to speak, or ask the question in the Q&A box. From what I see that both Claudia and Luisa and Kata were quite busy answering everything already in the Q&A box. I've also managed to answer quite a few questions while moderating. But
an additional comment, Josipa, sorry, that I just went through an email that we received this morning from our Swiss partner. I don't know, Josipa, if you had the time to go through it. I don't know if there are Swiss applicants in the webinar, but we received a clarification this morning from the Swiss agency that is going to fund the Swiss applicants, that they will be able to actually fund just projects that are, let's say, presented in consortium. So no single applicant is going to be funded from the Swiss agency. This is something that we will definitely include in the, we will modify or edit the guidelines with this further specification. It's something, let's say, a news that we received this morning. So thanks a lot, Mariana, Mariana is the responsible of BFH, that is the Swiss partner that developed the challenges for Torbel. So I don't know if there are any Swiss potential applicant in the call. Please do apply in a consortium. Don't apply as a single entity, otherwise it won't be possible for the Swiss agency to fund you. Just since we still have a couple of minutes, I just wanted to clarify this as well.
Thanks, Claudia, for the clarification. I've seen also one hand raised, but it was lowered in the meantime. Yes, please make sure, if you are a Swiss partner, to encourage your applications to have a consortium formed. So research institutions are either invited to partner with a local NGO, an SME, a startup, or an association, or apply, but nonetheless, don't apply as an individual, apply as a consortium to this open call, as individual applications will not be funded, like Claudia mentioned. Okay, what I see...
There is a question, Josipa, in the chat.
Yes, I see it now. So the question in the chat asks, do both companies have to be from Switzerland in this case? We are not sure, because these are quite recent. Like Claudia said, we received this rule and this rationale coming from the SERI, Swiss funding agency, this morning. So I guess 3 or 4 hours ago. So we'll have to double check with them to make sure that they will be funding both Swiss entities. I would assume that yes, but I'm not sure. Somebody raised their hand.
It's not me, I promise. But
yes, probably somebody from Switzerland. Please, try to rename, but I will allow you to talk. Go ahead. I assume it's the Swiss entity. You are now, I can ask you to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes. We assumed it was you, Mariana. Go ahead.
That's Mariana speaking. So I can basically clarify this question that was just raised. So both options are allowed. They could be fully formed Swiss consortium, or it could be mixed consortiums. But the main applicant, according to guidelines, need to be SME or startup, as it's specified in the open call.
And Mariana, the leader should be from Switzerland, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the preferred option, yes.
Yes. to be funded by the Swiss funding agency. Otherwise, if the leader is not from Switzerland, you will be funded simply through the RURACTIVE Open Call for innovators.
Exactly. In these mixed consortiums, the Swiss participants always would be funded by our funding agency, and the other associated country or EU country would be funded through RURACTIVE budget for Open Call.
Great. Thank you, Mariana, for raising your hand and answering the question live. I don't see there any more questions in the Q&A, and I see the time is already 11:59. So in case there are no any more last questions, I would like to thank you all for coming to this webinar, for being here, for asking your questions, and for giving your interest in the RURACTIVE Open Call for Innovators. Thanks to everybody who already submitted their questions to the Q&A box. This brings us to the end of today's sessions. The webinar recording, like we said, will be shared soon. But please don't forget that we'll have another webinar, a second webinar where we'll be focusing more on the how-tos of the application, but also on the evaluation of those applications received. We'd like to thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you have a great day. And we look forward to seeing all of your innovative applications to the RURACTIVE Open Call. Goodbye for now, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye-bye.